Welcome, and we're excited to have a really productive day. So good morning, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order. This is the Commission for Independent Education, and I am Mildred Coyne, Chair of the Commission. We are at Howey in the Hills, Florida, and today is November 17th, 2022. Ms. Hood, could we have a roll call, please?
Dr. Coyne.
Present.
Mr. Williams.
Present.
Dr. Marty.
Present.
Dr. Stefano. Ms. Canarella.
Present.
Ms. Whitaker. And Dr. Fox.
I'll take that. Present.
I'd like to remind everyone that if you have not already done so, please put your phones on silent. Thank you. It is now time for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag led by Sam Ferguson. So we'd like to welcome all of you here today. Thank you for joining us. We're looking, like I said, forward to a very productive day, and we're really appreciative for all of you that travel and make it a priority to be here in person with us. So thank you. The Commission begins its meetings with the introductions of those in attendance. Mr. Eldridge, would you please proceed with the introductions of our visitors?
Hey, good morning. Commissioner, everybody. I'm Jim Chow, President of Orlando University.
Good morning, Dr. Joe Angley, Cole Middleton Group Education Consulting.
Good morning, Ann Middleton.
Good morning, Commissioners and staff. Dr. Jose Otero, Otero Consulting Group.
I'm Nikki with Acesso out of Longwood.
I'm Deborah Jones with Acesso.
Good morning. I'm Lori Stowers, Director of Compliance for Compass Rose Foundation and Jones Technical Institute.
Good morning, Maggie Goldstein, Meridian West Central College, Sarasota, Florida.
Good morning, Brittany Goldstein, Meridian West Central College.
Good morning, Eileen Gillis with International Institute of Orthotics and Prosthetics.
Hi, good morning. Steve Budash. I'm the CFO of Education Affiliates, which is the parent company of Fortis Colleges and Fortis Institutes.
Jim Herbst, Regional Vice President of Fortis College.
Good morning, everybody. Ben Sedrin, Campus President, Fortis College in Orange Park.
Good morning. Kathleen Cole. I'm the Campus President at Fortis in Pennsylvania.
Good morning. Nikki Good, Fortis Institute, Port St. Lucie. We are on the agenda.
Good morning. Deborah Thibodeau, Campus President, Fortis College, Cutler Bay.
Thank you. Good morning. Dr. Kelly Krenkel, Director of Accreditation and Compliance for Florida National University.
Good morning. Dr. Anthony Berrios. I'm the Vice President of Academic Affairs at Florida National University.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Jim Vernon with Schultz School Advisors.
Good morning. Janie Bailey, Nexus University.
Good morning. Jessica Suito, Nexus University.
Good morning. Dr. Helen Wu, East West College.
Good morning. Joseph Aleka, East West College of Natural Medicine, Sarasota.
Good morning. Ignacio Maroto, Westfield Business School, Miami.
Good morning. Mary Rutaco, Rutaco Consulting. Thank you.
Holly Doty, Utica University.
Good morning, Wyman Dickey, Campus Director, Daytona College.
Good morning, Bill Bradley, Vice President, Daytona College.
Good morning, Pamela Kraska, Compliance Accreditation Director at Daytona College.
Good morning, Dr. Mike Burkett, President of Nuke University, Florida Technical College in the Dave School, and board member of FAPS.
Good morning, Dr. Mary Jean Gilles, Brilliant Academy Health Center, not in agenda.
Good morning, Nathan Adams, partner with the law firm of Holland and Knight, work on the education law group for Holland and Knight and chair the education law bar committee.
Happy Thursday, everyone. Stacy Ann Sinclair Jibison with Rasmussen University.
Trisha Kingsley with Rasmussen University.
Dr. Aristides Mazaduerto, Millennium Atlantic University, President.
Good morning, Nick Mansour, Chairman, Arizona College of Nursing.
Good morning, James Jones, Executive Director of Academic Operations of the Fort Lauderdale campus of Arizona College of Nursing.
Good morning, Matthew Egan, Vice President of Regulatory Affairs, Arizona College of Nursing.
Good morning, Tim Dengler. I'm the Campus Director at Altiris Career College in Tampa.
Hello, everyone. Dr. Hisham Shaban, Dean of School of Business, Miami Regional University.
Good morning, Dr. Elizabeth Levine, Interim Dean, Miami Regional University.
Good morning, Richard Grillo, Executive Vice President and General Counsel, Miami Regional University.
Good morning, Dr. Giselle Poveda, Provost, Miami Regional University.
Good morning, Michael Bonal, Associate Dean, Miami Regional University.
Good morning, Leslie Lee, Dean of the School of Education, Miami Regional University.
Good morning, Loretta White, Associate Vice President for Institutional Effectiveness and Planning at Miami Regional University.
Good morning, Commissioners and staff. Alan Mortham, Executive Director, Florida Association of Post-Secondary Schools and Colleges.
Good morning, Cheryl Gunning, Concord in Tampa.
Good morning, Dr. Sam Lin, Concord Career Institute, Regional Vice President of Operations, Florida, and FAPS Board Member.
Good morning, everyone. Edgar Lamela from Superb Strategy, a strategic growth consultant firm for educational institutions. We're here today with one of our clients, Harrison University. They are not in the agenda, but we recommended to come today to learn from this meeting.
Good morning, Angeli Gonzalez, Executive Director, Harrison University.
Good morning, Victor Manrique, Super Strategy.
Good morning, Dr. Zabellan, Campus Director, Key West University.
Good morning, Domingo Alvarez with Alvarez and Mendoza, Certified Public Accountants.
Good morning, Christopher Bjornstedt, Director of Institutional Effectiveness, Westcliff University.
Good morning, my name is Carlos Leo, Blackwell Global University.
Good morning, my name is Alejandro Núñez, Blackwell Global University of Orlando.
Good morning, Renzo Ferro with Blackwell Global University.
Good morning, Professor Sherman Roberts, President by your good graces, Blackwell Global University.
Good morning, Sarah Tudor, Director of Global Education Experience and Executive Dean at the Global Institute of Sport.
Good morning, Catherine Garrido from the Global Institute of Sport Americas.
Good morning, Jackie Corcoran with Corcoran Partners.
Good morning, Marisha Tucker McFadden, Director of Operations at Bridgeway School of Nursing.
Good morning, Dr. Charmaine Watson from Bridgeway School of Nursing.
Good morning, Rachel Watson with Bridgeway School of Nursing.
Greetings and salutations, and howdy, one and all. I'm your simple servant, Arthur H. Reyes from Humboldt International University, Chief Cook and Bottle Washer. I welcome the commissioners. I also welcome Mr. Ferguson and Ms. Hood. Ladies and gentlemen, we're in for a good day today now.
Good morning, Fabiola Lagardère from St. Ignacio University.
Good morning, Dr. Althea Ellis, Dean of Academic Affairs, St. Ignacio University.
Good morning, Nancy Rodriguez, MNS Media CEO, representing Miami Media School today. Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Sarah Ewing from Gannon University.
Good morning, everyone. Desi Herder from Gannon University in Ruskin, Florida.
Good morning, Dr. Dina Hewitt, the Associate Dean of Nursing Operations for Herzing University, and currently serving as the Chief Nurse Administrator for the Florida campuses.
Good morning, Juan Revuelta, President, Med Academy.
Good morning, T.C. Wolf, New Century Government Affairs.
Good morning, James Banner, Senior Vice President of Pike Corporation out of North Carolina.
Good morning. My name is Nadia Spini. I am an education consultant for Stay Safe Entry-Level Driver Training School.
Good morning, Michael Tucky. I'm the ELDT Manager for Safe Solutions.
Good morning. My name is Garrett Bush. I'm Director of Education for Stay Safe ELDT School.
Good morning, Steve Litvak with Jersey College.
Good morning, Tom Frederick, Interim Vice President for Academic Affairs for Union Institute and University.
Good morning, my name is Cynthia Rue, Premier International College, Fort Myers, Florida.
Good morning, Commissioners. Lynn Mulheron with Florida Career College.
Richard Zayden, Compliance Director, FBI School of Nursing and Technology in Miami.
Good morning, Christy Bordelon with Christy Bordelon Consulting.
Esther Curry, City College.
Jennifer Newham, City Colleges.
LeSean Roberts, City College Campus Director, Altamont Springs.
Dr. Becky Lodewick, City College.
Connie Schneck, CFO, City College.
Sarah Buckow, Chief Operating Officer, City College.
Good morning, Jerry Rosenberg, President and CEO, City College.
Good morning, Jennifer Sola, Urbe University.
Good morning, Dr. Eric Roberts, Campus Director, Urbe University.
Good morning, Monique Pulido, Urbe University, Finance Director.
Good morning, Maria Andreina Belloso, Urbe University.
Good morning, Oscar Veloso, Urbe University.
Good morning, Dr. Paulette Howell, Educare and Vision College of Nursing.
Good morning, Jeanette Thompson, Educare and Vision College of Nursing.
Good morning, Chris Giorgetti, Santoro and Giorgetti, Post-Secondary Educational Consultants, here today with American Imperial University, Modern Sex Therapy Institute, and Orlando Health Science University.
Dr. Robert Hasty, I'm the Dean and the Chief Academic Officer of the proposed Orlando College of Osteopathic Medicine and Orlando Health Sciences University.
Good morning, Dr. Dan Newhaller, President of Orlando College of Osteopathic Medicine.
Mike Santoro, President of American Imperial University.
Morning, everyone. Vineet Rogani from American Imperial University.
Good morning. Nirmal Shah, Director of American Imperial University.
Good morning, Leonard Sclafani for American University of Antigua College of Medicine.
Good morning. My name is Bob Harris. I'm with the law firm of Messer Caparillo, located in Tallahassee, Florida. Today I'm representing City College, the Center for Allied Health, Florida National University. Thank you.
Welcome, everyone. We're glad that you're here, and it now takes us to, next on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. Minutes from the meeting held in October, and this meeting will be on the January agenda. Ms. Pelton, will you please provide the Executive Director's report?
Good morning, Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen. So all of us are very blessed to work in the Turlington building in well, all of us staff members, I should say. The CIA staff is blessed to work in the Turlington building where the Department of Education is in Tallahassee. And I must say, I am not a morning person, folks. So if you talk to me this morning, I made notes, but it was very nice to meet you. But please come find me again, because I will probably be more awake in a few hours, in a little while. That being said, it is a pleasure to come to work every day because the delightful staff greets you with a named day. So I would like to pass that on and wish you a very happy, thankful Thursday, particularly as we go into the holiday season. Commissioners, you'll find the link to the Student Protection Fund report in the addendum to today's meeting notes. Since our last meeting, there have been no citations issued. I would like to start my report by covering some the status of our staff. So as is very notable today, Jenna Parton has left for a new opportunity at the Department of Health. She was a tremendous asset to CIE, but we wish her all the best and all the great success. We welcome Jim Richmond from the Department of Education General Counsel's Office today to sit with us and keep us between the lines. So thank you, Jim, for being here. That being said, I want to wish Jenna a very big thank you. We have also recently lost our personnel liaison. We have had some fluctuation in program specialist staff, and we are also down a couple of on-site evaluators. So that all being said, we are very much in the process of hiring and refreshing staff. If you know anyone who lives in Tallahassee, doesn't live in Tallahassee, please pass their name along. We're also seeking a general counsel. It is a great opportunity to work in that space between the Florida economy and education and putting those pieces together. So we are continuing to streamline the licensure process within our office. We have split the program specialists into a compliance team and an application review team. So there will be, starting after Thanksgiving, there will be 6 program specialists in our office who will remain assigned to schools as they are today. 3 program specialists will only be doing application review. So application intake through the completion of the drafting of the 30-day letter. So that's a change that we hope will streamline. We are also refocusing on tracking applications to make sure that we can do a better job of making sure that everything is proceeding timely. So please bear with us, folks. I know I'm very aware there are applications sitting out there. I have been very lucky to get to meet with many of you, and as we try to write some of those ships, we are doing the best we can. But please reach out to us, and if you if you need some guidance or attention, please feel free to reach out to me directly. I'm happy to talk to you or dig where I can, and particularly as I continue to get educated. We are also expanding our advertising review, really focusing on that for schools, with special attention to social media and religious institutions and unlicensed activity, both by our licensees and also by schools that may be advertising without any license. So with that, I'd like to take the opportunity today to remind licensees, no advertising of your school should be going on prior to that actual receipt of that paper provisional license. That includes online, that includes Facebook, that includes any social media, TikTok, all of that. We will be looking at those things, and prior to licensure, advertising is not permitted. Additionally, all programs that you offer at a licensed institution must be licensed by CIE. The exception for avocational courses, contract training, continuing education, etc., 1005.06D, those are for institutions that only offer those programs. So if you offer a program at your institution, it should be licensed by this body, please. So please bear that in mind as we continue to look into advertising and things like that. Additionally, staff has also initiated and split up into 5 work groups that align with the commissioner's vision for the committees. We have 3 that are focusing, and we discussed some of this yesterday, 3 that are focusing on policy and quality assurance, and that is a data and measurement committee, a process committee, and a rule and law committee. Those obviously work very much in parallel and are iterative, and staff is very engaged and excited to be working on the commissioner's agenda. And within those 3, particularly the process team, will be documenting our existing process. And as we continue trying to modernize and automate documents and develop portals and make it more licensee friendly and also streamline our process, they are going to be really crucial thing for us, or resource for me and the rest of staff to rely upon. We've also developed a consumer education and institutional education work group that are examining those issues in tandem with the commission. Commissioners, do you have any questions? Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you. No, that was really helpful, especially in light of our conversation yesterday around where we want to go with subcommittees. I'm excited about a lot of that, the intentionality around reorganization, focus, and alignment. So that, I think that that's really going to produce some really great streamlining efforts for the commission and how we go forward. I'd actually even like to see, even as you were sharing, as we get a little bit more efficient with the meetings and with the way that we are approving and moving through the processes for the schools, to have opportunities for learning at these meetings. And I think that's something that we should consider as we get better. You know, we're pretty new still, right? But as we get better as a commission, being able to then have learning opportunities at these meetings, where we can see and experience best practices from the field and have that type of awareness from this dais.
If I may, I forgot.
Please.
Absolutely, and I commend your efforts to include that and am eager to do so. If the commission would be open to it, I would also like to start including some student testimony at our meetings and hearing from students who have had good, bad, mediocre outcomes, and how we can facilitate more good outcomes, but hearing directly from the students. So to that end, institutions, Susan's going to hate me. If you have students that might be interested in participating, noticeably January's meeting is virtual, so it does not require travel. We would welcome those suggestions. If your students are interested, have them reach out to us directly, myself and Susan Hood, please. Thank you.
Yeah, I love that idea. Any other comments on the director's report, executive director's report? Hearing none, we'll move on to Mr. Richmond. Would you provide a legal counsel report?
Other than to thank you all for the opportunity to be here today, nothing to report, Madam Chair.
Well, it's kind of a welcome home, right, for you. So,
Right.
So welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Next on the agenda are issues relating to institutions that grant degrees. Item A on the agenda is for institutions' order to appear back before the commission. We have two, so we will take them individually. The first institution is ASA College, Hialeah, number 5565. Is there anyone here from ASA? Okay, I'll pause for a second here.
ASA College is unfortunately unable to join us due to illness and some conflicting issues.
Okay.
So if the commissioners have any questions, please pass them on to myself and staff, and we will reach out and get those answers back to you.
I'll open it up to the commissioners if you have any comments or things that we want to funnel to the ASA team. I have a comment or two, but I'll defer to y'all first. I would just like to ask, just for what is the timeline and plan for rollout of the communications plan? I look in the documentation and see great communications to all the different constituencies that need to be notified about the school's condition and change in status. But I just want to, I don't, you know, they're all kind of like to John Doe. They're all just still open and blank, and I don't know what their timeline is and what is their plan for that by March 2023, if that's when they're expecting closure. So that would be.
I will reach out to them and make sure the commissioners are provided with those answers.
Perfect. Thank you. So I will take a motion then to accept staff's recommendations to of the report of contingencies. Let me make sure I'm reading the right thing. Yes. Do I have a motion? So moved. Second. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. The motion is approved. Okay. The next item on the agenda is applications for, the next institution is Educare Envision College of Nursing, Melbourne, number 6478. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Jeanette Thompson.
And I'm Dr. Paulette Howell.
Great. Commissioners, any comments or questions?
Yes, Madam Chair, I'd like to begin. I see your remediation plan is in place for your cohort in May 2023.
Correct.
Do you have graduates coming up? Like I saw your third quarter results. Do you have more testers coming up in fourth quarter before May?
I have 2 more testers.
Do we have anything?
Which I'm not sure if they will test before the end of the year.
Okay. And I know that, you know, you put things in place to help your May 2023. I'm just concerned about the students that just came out of Q3, where 75% didn't pass. Do we have anything in place to help those students?
Absolutely. Currently, we have them in an exam cram that we created. We have a remedial course in our school, and so we decided to put together a remedial for those students that did not pass. And so we call it NCLEX Exam Cram Jam. And so we're utilizing certain books to guide them in a fashion of studying for the NCLEX. So since those pass rates came out, we have had 3 additional students to test for the second time and pass.
Good.
So
Great.
we are encouraging all of those students to join us that has not passed, so that they can complete our 6 weeks of review and possibly take before the end of the year.
Okay, thank you. Are you currently enrolling for the PN program?
We are. Yes. And we did have a pass rate for we had 1 to take their test in October.
Okay, thank you.
So that's why it's not on that report.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other comments or discussion? No. Hearing no more discussion, is there a motion to accept staff's recommendation to accept the NCLEX pass rate progress report?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The motion is adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is applications for provisional licensure. Item 3.3, University of Fairfax Orlando, number 10196 has been pulled from the agenda, so there are 2 items in this section, and we will take them individually. The first institution is American Imperial University, Orlando, number 12500. Welcome.
Morning.
Good morning.
Vineet Rughani.
Good morning.
Nirmal.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Chris Giorgetti, Santora and Giorgetti.
Excellent. Commissioners, do we have any discussion on American Imperial University?
I do. I just want a quick question. What % of your students are in the United States versus outside of the United States? Who's your target market for students?
So we expect that 80% of our students will be from United States and 20% of them will be international students studying online.
And your staff for recruitment, student services, that would all be located here?
Yes, they will be located here in Florida.
And how many staff is that here in Florida?
So we will begin with, on the admissions side, we will begin with 1 admissions manager who will be looking at student recruitment. But as we grow, we will ramp up on the admission side, but we will have the other staff members as well on roles.
And do you, trying to find the projection enrollment here.
Roughly 60.
60,
Okay.
first year.
Thank you. Thank you.
So can you go a little deeper in your target demographics again? Like, so who are you looking for to be a quality, successful student at American?
So our vision is, and our plan is that we begin with master's program in business administration for international business and a master's in data analytics. And we believe that, going forward and very soon, Miami will be the capital for blockchain technology for the world. And that's why we would want to move from the online campus to a physical campus in Miami by 2025. And we begin with data analytics, but very soon we will have blockchain technology related programs as well, so that we are able to recruit students who are interested and inclined to serve the career in these industries. And we are also able to meet the industry demand for this kind of talent, because data is the next oil for the world.
Interesting, yeah. You should coin that phrase. So do you have plans then for American accreditation for your degree programs?
If I may. So yes, by end of 2023, we would want to begin the accreditation process with DIAC.
And who's that with?
DIAC.
Okay.
They have a 1-year wait period, DIAC, for online institutions versus 2 years for most of the others. So DIAC is where they're headed.
And is that on our current list? Okay, sorry. I'm not familiar with them. Can you tell me what it stands for?
Distance Education Accrediting Commission.
Okay, great, thanks. I feel like I should know that, sorry.
Did I hear you say you're planning to move into a physical location from purely online? What's the timeline on that?
2025, we would want to set up in Miami, move it from Orlando.
And I'm assuming your plan is, pardon me, Sharon, is to either use proceeds from 2022 enrollments or have principal funding as capital for that. I applaud you for showing the unit-specific financials on here. I just wanted to make sure that you guys have the plans for how the overhead and the fixed costs are going to be covered once you make that brick and mortar transition.
100%, yes, fully agree, sir.
Yeah.
Fully agree.
And is the plan in 2025 to be then hybrid or synchronous learning?
So it will be a synchronous learning, but we'll go a hybrid model where students who would want to study online would also get that opportunity. But the focus will be for students who want to come and study on campus.
Would you be having classes prior to 2025, all online? When do you have any students right now? When do you plan to start?
We will be recruiting once we get the license and the approvals from the Honorable Department, and we currently don't have any students.
Not permitted to advertise.
Yep.
No students. Not until that provisional.
Any other discussion? Hearing no more discussion, is there a motion to accept the staff's recommendation to grant the provisional license upon the following contingencies being met? 1, submission of documentation regarding any other college, university, or school owned. Did I skip over asking you if you had anything to add or ask?
You're good.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you very much.
Forgive me. So in the middle of this staff recommendation, submission of documentation regarding any other college, university, or school owned by NMRA, A.J. Shaw, and that the college, university, or school was operated in compliance with rule. Submission of an explanation of the activities that will be occurring on ground in the state of Florida. The documentation should demonstrate that the institution will in fact be operating in this state as defined in rule. Submission of documentation regarding directors or administrators' involvement in any other college, university, or school, and that the college, university, or school was operated in compliance with statute. The executive director shall issue the provisional license when the contingencies are timely fulfilled. And we would grant approval of the 100% online asynchronous online delivery for the Business Administration and International Business Masters, Business Administration and Strategic Leadership Doctoral, and Data Analytics Master's Program upon issuance of the provisional license.
Mr. Giorgetti, was there a question?
Yeah, just before we make the motion, number 1 in the staff recommendation, this is Nirmal.
Okay.
And he explained to me when they got off the plane, and even though he was jet lagged yesterday, he explained to me he's never been in the state of Florida, period. So we weren't sure where number one came from, but we wanted to make sure that we addressed it at the podium. So Nirmal, he has an explanation for why maybe the name came up.
Oh, okay. No.
Yeah, I mean, the surname and the name both are very common from the ethnicity where I come from, and that's why probably, you could have had some names in the database which would have matched mine, but otherwise I don't have any interest in any schools or universities currently in the United States.
Oh, in the United States.
So we weren't sure if it needed to be a contingency
Genesis
or
of
if it
that.
could be checked.
I'll defer to you or the staff.
Mr. Richmond, with your concurrence, I would urge that you just submit that included and we will, so that we can cross our i's and dot our t's. We appreciate you relating the information.
Perfect. Sure. I got 2 T's and an I in my name, so we'll take care of that.
Okay,
Thank you.
fair enough. So do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The motion is approved. Welcome to Florida.
Thank you very much, Commissioners.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
The next institution is Blackwell Global University, Orlando, 12499. Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Jose Otero, Otero Consulting Group.
Good morning. I'm Professor Sherman Roberts, and I'd like to say a couple of things about my background. I've been teaching for more decades than I care to mention in graduates and undergraduates, and I created programs for the Kennedy School at Harvard University, 9 programs, and I'm the founder of the Oxford program on negotiation. I am now honored to have a new possibility, which is as president of Blackwell Global University. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Renzo Ferro. I am with Global University, Blackwell Global University.
Good morning. My name is Alejandro Núñez, a founder of Blackwell Global University.
Good morning. Carlos Leo, Blackwell Global University.
Commissioners, any discussion?
Are you currently operating outside the state of Florida in other states?
No, we are not.
So this would be the
Just
first?
exclusively, yes, this is exclusively Florida.
Can you tell us a little bit about your target demographic? Is it out-of-country students, in-country students, in-state students, all of the above?
We hope to serve the population of Florida, and that is the emphasis of our initial marketing effort. We will also have some international students, and we'll try to live up to the name Global. But we're going to make an initial effort emphasizing local media in Florida, and both online and offline. And we will make an effort, of course, internationally as well.
And how many faculty and administrators will be based in Florida?
We initially have a list right now of 17 faculty members, and then we have a list of directors. I forget exactly the number, but it's around 10.
And they're all based in Florida?
Not all of them live in Florida, no ma'am.
I was just curious about where they were based.
Right. We have some professors and the people that work with us at a higher level in Florida, but many of them live elsewhere.
Can I inquire that you guys all have a great background, and I was looking through your credentials here, and there's a large group of you here and, impressive resumes, but the pro forma you guys submitted is rather conservative. So I'm wondering what the long-term plan is, because I imagine that what we're looking at right here seems like a toe in the water scenario of what you really would like to achieve. So I'm trying to understand, if this is first base, what does second and third look like?
Right. We've kind of been thinking in terms of the next 10 years. So our first two years will probably be entirely online, except for a few, in-person events at our site here in Orlando. And then we want to work really hard for accreditation. We'll probably go through middle states. But we feel that we want to hit the ground doing a very good job in everything. And so we'd like to recruit aggressively, internationally and nationally, emphasizing again the idea that we want to serve the Florida population. Longer term, some of us have long Rolodexes, as my hair and wrinkles do tend to testify. We know a lot of people internationally, and we hope to expand both our faculty and our students internationally. And our vision is that we want to bring good things from everywhere to Florida, so that an already prospering educational environment will be even better. That's our long-term view.
Well said. I only ask that because, given the backgrounds you guys have, it looks like you're sandbagging a little, and that you may actually outperform what your anticipated pro formas are, and I just was curious about that.
That would be music to our ears.
Well, I mean, we all would prefer to underpromise and overdeliver, right? I just was just curious about how that was going to evolve over time.
Thank you.
What's your projected enrollment in your first 2 years in that online time period? I'm sorry, I'm just struggling to find it.
I think conservative is almost an understatement there. I think the number we named was 57 initial students. I would be surprised if we don't go a little bit beyond that mark. It's all an empirical question. It depends on how good our marketing is. It depends on how good we present what we have to offer. We think we have a lot to offer, but
Well, I'm curious that, so, yeah, I think, I understand that, but I think it's a good to have a target and a goal for that number. But, so, I know that you all have great experience and a lot of a deep network. Have you, when you build the programs, have you engaged employers for students to be gainfully employed after your programs? Or what's the plan for that type of curriculum influence from current employers?
I hope to be able to answer that question. We are going to work on that through our advisory board. We're going to become members of the right associations for university. And I think that, we have a plan in place, but we don't, we don't like to make predictions that we can't sustain on empirical facts. I don't know if anybody else has another.
Yeah, it's our intent to have connections with local companies or corporations to bring students to there so they have experience when they go to market.
So work-based experience that the students will have as a part of their program?
That is part of our intent, yes.
Okay, that's great. Because then my next question was going to be, so in this really dynamic market for these types of degrees, what's your differentiator?
Well,
You go first. You're already standing there.
sorry about that. Yeah, I think it has to do with a lot with the faculty and the experience that our faculty have. The name global does not only come from the fact that we want to globalize and bring a lot of our culture into the Florida market, but also the experience our professors have. You can tell our professors come from different backgrounds, different places across the globe, and have a very good experience in the United States as well. So it's the number one, and we want to bring that into the classroom to the students.
Is this school affiliated with any other school or program internationally?
We're not affiliated, no. This is a standalone initiative, although we do have contacts and we do have people that have had extensive experience with other institutions. But there's no direct dependency, if that's the nature of the question.
Okay, so the parent company doesn't own multiple schools or
The parent company?
Global Investment Group?
No.
Okay. Another question is on the financials. You have approximately 60 students planned, 57 students planned. Advertising costs are extremely low, and if you could figure that one out, I think you could have a room full of people listening to your workshop on that. So I just, I would think it might be 10 times that cost, and maybe, conservatively 5 times. So what is your formula that you're going to use to get that many students with such little advertising cost?
We are working mostly on digital space, and we have connections on the networking to be able to reach out. We are looking into OTT and direct response internet connectivity. So that's how we're going to keep the cost low.
Okay. Well, I wish you success. If you get to those levels, that'd be outstanding.
We'll market that too.
Share it.
Report back to us how that turns out. Well,
Yeah.
we'll see, right? We'll see you here next time. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, I will take a motion to accept staff's recommendations to grant the provisional license upon the following contingencies being met. 1, submission of an explanation of the activities that will be occurring on the ground in the state of Florida. The documentation should demonstrate that the institution will in fact be operating in the state as defined by Florida statute. Number 2, submission of documentation regarding any other college, university, or school owned by Alejandro Vizcarra, and that the college, university, or school was operated in compliance with Florida statute. 3, successful completion of criminal justice information investigation pursuant to Florida statute for Alejandro Vizcarra. And 4, submission of documentation regarding directors or administrators' involvement in any other college, university, or school, and that the college, university, or school was operated in compliance with rule. And 5, submission of completed instructional and administrative personnel forms with supporting credentials for all newly hired faculty that will be teaching the general education that demonstrates compliance with Florida rule. The motion would grant approval of the 100% online synchronous and asynchronous delivery for the accounting BA, business administration BS, business administration MBA, healthcare management masters, and hospitality management master's program upon issuance of the provisional license.
Thank you. Thank you.
Motion?
Thank you very much.
Hold on, one more formality. Motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The motion is approved. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Okay. Item C on the agenda is applications for annual licensure. We have 3, so we will take them individually. The first institution is Global Institute of Sport Americas, LLC, Fort Lauderdale, number 9062. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Please introduce yourself.
So I'm Catherine Garrido. I'm the Regional Director for the Global Institute of Sport.
I'm Sarah Tudor, the Director of Global Education and Experience and Executive Dean.
I'm Jackie Corcoran with Corcoran Partners.
Good morning, I'm Domingo Alvarez with Alvarez & Mendoza, Certified Public Accountants.
Okay. Commissioners, any discussion, questions for our guests?
You know, it's called soccer, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm curious about the demand for this. If you could explain, I'm confident. I've been to an Atlanta United game. It's insane. right? But I'm curious about where you're seeing the demand coming from and what the plans for employment would be for your students.
Okay, perfect. And if I may just, I guess, give a little bit of the history of the background.
Sure.
And we
No,
start.
I love it.
So we were founded by Brendan Flood, who was the owner of Burnley Football Club, soccer club in the
Sure.
north of England, who stadiums sit empty, as we know, apart from games, and so utilised his stadium space to partner with a local college and use the executive suites for education purposes, and it really did very, very well. This is over 12 years ago in the UK. Wembley Stadium, 90,000-seater stadium, came knocking, and we launched in the UK in London at Wembley Stadium, and so we utilise the executive suites there for teaching, and we have a few thousand students now that they go there every day. And following on from that, Manchester City Stadium Etihad, we have students also based there. So that we've seen demand. We're providing education from within the industry. The students are being educated in the world of sports from within these incredible iconic stadiums. This led to our partnership with Inter Miami and utilising their space as education. As you know, we have the World Cup coming in Miami, and our good friends at New York Red Bulls and Atlanta will also be hosting World Cup games in 2026. So we're seeing a demand for this. I think we feel soccer is huge in Florida and across the US. We also work closely with partners at Toronto FC, and we're also seeing that within our sports world, we're talking to people like the Tampa Bay Rays, what are their educational needs and how can we develop? So very exciting, not just in the soccer world, but also in sports in general. So we're seeing a demand.
So you're almost doing this collaboratively through much larger organizations, like as a fulfillment partner, because so you get a defined flow of people coming from within those organizations.
Absolutely, and I think that there may have been an education gaps in some of these areas
Sure.
in sports, and we're having conversations with like the USL and MLS leagues as to what skills gaps they may have had within their hierarchy, and also providing a pathway from professional players that may make it or see a career for themselves within sports post-playing career, and also those that maybe don't quite make the first team cut and so are looking for ways to develop their own skills to stay in the game.
So the only other question I have for you is, I appreciate the letter from the parent company regarding some liquidity here domestically, and I have a sensitivity to the length of time that it might take for you guys to start showing the profitability that you anticipate. And I wonder what your internal tolerance for that is, because we all at some point cut our losses when things don't go well. And I think you're going to go well. I think there's a huge demand for this, but I just want to make sure we're asking this question about the ability to sustain that kind of loss that we're showing as year to date.
I can talk a little bit about the value of this relationship in the state to the business as a whole, and then I'm sure Domingo may want to add something in as well. The opportunity to have a global location to our brand in the UK is where the value sits. It's,
Sure.
It's so attractive to students in the UK, and it's enabling us to grow. We offer all of the students in the UK the opportunity to come out to Florida to experience those stadiums in the same way that we offer students to go out to our other stadiums in Australia and in Canada as well. So that overall brand allegiance with Inter Miami, and to offer those students the opportunity, really creates that ability for the students who are based in the UK to have a global experience. So we as you say, we're committed to being successful here, but it's broader than how the financials are working here. So,
Sure. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that your appetite for sustaining that loss, right, was something that you could endure over time.
Yes, yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah, when you throw a couple of commas into there,
Sure.
it makes me wonder at some point, do you say, okay, is the return going to be worth it down the road when we actually start showing that positive cash flow? So, but I get that you don't have to talk people into coming to the land of sunshine.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Definitely. Thank you.
I think it's an interesting model. Yeah, very cool.
You asked a question about the employability rates as well, and we're really proud of our employability rates. Our recent survey, 9 months after graduation, 98% of our students are in work, and 96 of them are in a higher role that requires the level of degree that we're offering. So we're really proud of where our students progress on to.
Is there anything you can do about flopping on the field?
No, I'm sorry. I don't have those magic.
I got to say, you guys do it better than anyone else.
Not us personally.
No.
So do you have any, just for my own curiosity, what's the wage? Do you have a wage range for those graduates and where they're getting?
I mean, and that's
those
UK
are in the
data.
at the moment.
Okay,
So,
I'm still interested.
We haven't had our data for the US. We've got our first group of students going through a 2-year course, so they're coming towards the end. And they are earning an average wage for the UK, £30,000 upwards. And we do ask for salary information, but some of our respondents are more reluctant to give it to us. We do also assess how many of our graduates go into sport roles as well, and we recognise that some will take some of the skills that they've learned, like project management and accounting, and take it into other environments, because of course sport can teach us lessons that will help in wider business. But almost 70% of our graduates go into sport as well. So, and we've got students working across every English Premier League club. So the opportunities for mentorship and engagement of the existing students is fantastic as well.
Yeah, that's interesting. I had another question that just fled out of my head. Oh, I know what it was. Sorry. So I'm interested that it's a master's degree. Is it so? Do you feel that the market is the same in the U.S. that's going to require people that have a bachelor's degree? So I'm thinking about players like you described that might not have made the first cut. Do they have bachelor's degrees? Is that, I guess I'm always looking at employers having a demand for talent, but then are they being really reflected and self-reflected on their own credential creep that they might be requiring? And is a master's degree required in the U.S.?
I mean, for the senior leadership positions that we're seeing as people are sort of going into management responsibilities, either from playing, then into obviously getting their education and then moving into masters, we're sort of looking at anybody who's even sort of COO level, vice presidents of organizations that are looking now that may not have had credentials like that before, but are seeing themselves move up, and so there's a demand for masters. Our students that started our executive sports directorship program came from clubs like New York Red Bulls, Louisville, Chicago, Cincinnati. All of these soccer clubs have sent their leaders to us for this master's program, and they started in January.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you if you found an opportunity to have these organizations sponsor /scholarships for the individuals that they see having a future within their organization to rise?
Internally, the students themselves may be getting development opportunities within their clubs and financial support. I think there's definitely some of them that have taken advantage of club support, yeah.
I mean, everyone struggles to find great people, right?
Absolutely.
So once you find a great person, it seems like an obvious investment for them to make in developing that individual.
Yeah, and that's what we're seeing. Toronto FC is, they've heavily supported their heads of the academy to come through our master's program.
Outstanding.
Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, I will accept a motion. I gotta go back up. To accept the staff's recommendations, which I have to find. To grant the annual license upon the following contingencies being met: completion of an on-site visit and report by commission staff to determine compliance with the commission standards of Chapter 6E of the Florida Administrative Code, submission of an internal financial audit prepared in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles by an independent certified public accountant, which demonstrates resources sufficient for the proposed operations of the institution, and the discharge of its obligations to the students, submission of documentation confirming the CPA that prepared the financial statement has met the regulatory requirements in their respective state of business.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The motion is approved.
you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
The next school under Section C is Humboldt International University, Miami, number 5000.
Greetings again, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Arthur A. Treyes, Director of Administration, or as I like to say it, Chief Cook and Bottle Washer at Humboldt International University. I'm ready.
Okay. Commissioners, are you ready?
Let the shootout begin.
So I have questions, because 2020 and 2021 was tough for everyone. And
It's our best year, that's for sure.
yes, sir. The relationship between your loss and your liquidity is a painful one to look at, and I'm wanting to understand where you are year to date, maybe regaining your previous momentum and your ability to sustain the cash flow required for your operational costs.
Well, let me start off by saying our president is solely responsible for the finances of the institution. He dips into his pocket, he pulls out what is needed. Unfortunately, he dipped in a lot more this last year than the years before.
Yes, sir.
Now, of course, we're looking at 2021, 2022, and we all know we all had a COVID situation. 98% of our students are overseas, okay? And they suffered COVID a lot worse than we did here in the States, okay? We do not get any financial aid. Students pay as they go through the school. And our largest contingency of students came from Venezuela back in 2013. Now I'm happy to say that we're down to only 43 students remaining in the programs out of over 420 that first started back in 2023. The owner, who is from Venezuela, decided to honor the student enrollment agreement, and regardless of the exchange rate between the Venezuelan Bolivar and the US dollar, he cannot extract that money from Venezuela. So he kept it in Venezuela, and we're talking pennies to the dollar, if less than that. So he took it upon himself to take care of all those students, and 2013, 2022, close to 9 years, we've seen some progress. We have signed recently a contract with the government of the Dominican Republic to bring in close to 140 master's principals for our Doctorate of Education program. We're in the process of signing an agreement with the government of Chile and Mexico to do the same thing, okay? Out of 190 active students, and again, they're only active if they pay. Even though we may have a student body of 400 students, only 190 are active at this time as of July 2020, July 2020. So we're trying. We are now accepting only US dollars on every country that we deal with. Before we worked with exchange operations, but now we're only accepting US dollars, okay? We understand that the contract with the government of Dominican Republic can bring in $167,000 every 6 months. So we're looking at doubling that amount for the end of this year. Currently, our student body from the state of Florida is 14%. So when you only have 14%, and most of those students, like I said, from the state of Florida, they're either educators from our sister school, New Professions Technical Institute, which of course we give zero, we gave 100% scholarship, but there is no money involved in that thing. So we do have plans to recoup. We do have plans to stay afloat. Again, the owner, if he has to dip into his pocket, he will. He's been doing this, like I said, since our conception of 2013. Now, just so you understand, the owner also owns universities in Spain, Panama, 3 in Venezuela, and 2 here in the United States. So he does understand the importance of education.
When you said that 98% of your students are overseas, and then a few moments later you said 14% were here in Florida, can you help me reconcile that?
Well, when I say 98%, we're also talking about faculty. I'm also talking about, we have one of the directors live overseas. So, 14%, we're only talking about 27 out of 190 active. But again, our records show that we have over 400 students that come in as they pay. So that's why I'm saying that 14% is here in the United States.
And the revenues you're showing associated with this are Florida only? I feel like that's muddied a little bit. I'm trying to discern if this is Florida-only operations that I'm looking at here.
No. When we are bringing students, like I said, we have students right now from Russia, the Ukraine, Spain, throughout Latin America, Mexico.
That are registered under the license through this body?
Yes. So consequently, if they are in class today, they paid for today's sessions.
How many students did you have in 2021
2021,
that registered through this body?
I don't have that figures with me right now, but we probably had around 75 active students. But again, when I say we have 400, if you do not pay, you do not get trained for that quarter. If you pay next quarter, then you get trained. So, 400 is very fluid as far as student body goes.
I guess I'm just struggling with the math based on earned tuition and fees being based out of Florida at 186 and you had 75 students.
That money comes from everywhere. That's just not Florida. Any student that's in school that pays, that's where the tuition comes from. If we bring it in from Russia, okay, we bring it in from Spain, that money comes into our pockets and goes into that calculations. The only money that's not in the calculations is that of Venezuela. But we estimate that we have probably about $1.5 million still in Venezuela.
Yeah, I think the discussion that we're having is in a broader context, and the financials that I'm looking at are more specific to just Florida, but then I hear that Florida students are also coming from all over the world, but that number looks extraordinarily low if that's the case. So I'm just struggling to reconcile with how the corporate structure is set up so that what we're looking at is student and outcome focused, for everyone. So it sounds like we're looking at outcomes for students in Russia and Spain as well.
Yes.
And the majority, I just want to understand too, because I wrote down the same numbers that I think you mentioned, Commissioner Williams. 98% of students are international. But in 2013, you said the majority of those were coming from Venezuela.
Yes.
And so,
and now, yes, in 2013.
And so now you have students from the Dominican Republic, Chile, Mexico, and 14% are from Florida.
Yes.
That's the current number today. And so that puts us at 86% of the students are international. So I guess that,
the numbers just don't make sense to
Yeah.
me. So
And
is this LLC, which is taxed as a partnership, obviously a subsidiary of is it a wholly owned subsidiary of another entity?
Say again?
This LLC, Alexander Humboldt University LLC, is it a wholly owned subsidiary of a parent company?
Yes, the owner.
And in what country is that parent company housed?
Here in Miami.
So So then why don't we have financials to understand the more complete picture if it's here in the United States? I was under the impression that this was Florida operations, but it's not Florida operations if the parent company is here in Miami.
So are these the financials for?
Well, I'm hearing no. Yeah, the parent company is here in Miami, but because this, what we're looking at is a wholly owned subsidiary partnership LLC that is just one piece of that larger puzzle, which is why the numbers don't make sense.
So is there any additional information that you'd like to, that we should request to see as a contingency, is what I guess.
Provided the bank statement of the owner in the paperwork that I submitted to CIE.
Yeah, I'm confident he has deep pockets. I guess I'm more concerned about the outcomes that are not shown right here, because we're talking about a financial soundness in one discussion, but I'm wondering what's happening to Florida-based students, and for that matter, any student anywhere else.
Anywhere.
You know, if we're licensing for someone in Russia to come through this program, their outcomes should be included as well. It just seems reverse of.
And they're getting an American education, they're getting a degree, and it's taught in English? Just curious.
Yes, ma'am. We have two tracks, one in English and one in Spanish.
Okay.
So the folks in Russia are expected to speak Spanish or English?
They're expected to speak English. Latin American countries usually prefer to speak it in Spanish, so the bulk of our instructors are also from that area, so they teach in Spanish. We do not provide them where they could go back and forth, take some classes in English, some classes in Spanish. If you start off with a Spanish track, you finish with a Spanish track. Start off with an English track, you finish with an English track. And it's been going very well so far.
And so what percentage of your students then stay in their home country and work using that degree that they've earned?
We're an online institution. We've been that way since we started back in 2013.
Okay.
We do synchronized as well as asynchronized training. We do understand that there are some time differences and delays. We try to keep those in a certain area with those instructors in that area, and it's been working pretty well with this. Yes, ma'am.
I'm assuming that most of it is online, but like if it's only 56 students, but you got all these different programs, how do you serve those students?
Say again?
You have quite a few programs that you offer.
7 programs.
Yeah.
7 times 2 is 14, just to make sure, because we're going through the DEC accreditation, and they want us to identify the English track and the Spanish track. So, in case you want to know.
So you are going for DAC accreditation?
Yes, ma'am.
Where are you on that process?
Well, we finished our first initial SCR. We're expecting them to give us an answer back, hopefully before January, and try to get them on their docket by the June visits. Anybody else? I'm ready. Order binder here now.
Commissioner Stefano, were you going to ask? No, I thought I saw.
Madam Chair, I just need clarity. We're not going to gain it here today, but I don't think that the standards of submissions here give us the full scope of this, especially considering the parent company's in Miami and not overseas. So we're seeing just a piece of this puzzle, and I feel like there's a lot of moving parts there. I don't know what the contingency would be to add to this. I'm not opposed to extending the provisional licensure, but the financial soundness issue is not going to be resolved today.
Yeah, I'd like some more clarity as well from the enrollment data that's here. This is 2020 to 21. Obviously, we're ending 2022. I think there's great value in understanding if we're truly down to 27 active students.
In the state of Florida.
In the state of Florida, yes, understood. That placement and retention, because again, active versus non-active, then the numbers changing. What is that retention rate and what is the placement rate since 21 for those students to understand the viability of this educational program?
And that's the interesting point to make, is you said 27, and to clarify, you said in the state of Florida, but there are people from all over the world registering through this license that we're talking about here today.
Yes, sir, it is. We have students also from Texas, California, the Carolinas,
No, I mean in other countries.
other countries, right. I do have a breakdown of countries if you want to know.
Well, no, my point is that to say that there's 27 in the state of Florida is not the full picture of those who were coming from under this license.
So I think what we're trying to get at is
Right.
is a maybe just a more holistic way of looking at your enrollment, since you do have students in so many different, coming from so many different places.
Right.
So sure, we want to know about the Florida students, but we also need to know about all the other students that are taking your degrees from Russia, Venezuela, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, wherever you are enrolling students from. That makes up your student body.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
we want to see a holistic picture of the enrollment, the retention, and the completion and placement of those students. And when we're thinking of enrollment, I think you're thinking of it as, and this is fine, it's just might help you then in pulling the information for us, is active versus non-active.
Yes.
So you're saying they're active if they're paying sitting in a class, and once they pay, they're active, which is
Yes.
fine. That's retention for us. So there were students that were enrolled that are no longer sitting in a class because they're not paying that session.
That's
So
correct.
that's where you're going to have some drop off between your enrollment and your retention, or you're active and you're inactive, and they may become active again. But that's what we're trying to get at, is how many students are you serving globally? And then you could do the breakdown by area, by
Okay, but
Florida.
My question is, CIE requests only information regarding students from the state of Florida. Is this correct? If you only care about the students of the state of Florida, I got 27. The majority of students of the state of Florida are either employees, okay, because that's a hook for my other school, which I bring in instructors and students that graduate from my other school and bring them in here, okay? And most of them work for the institutions, one degree or another, okay? Now, of those, I have a 100% placement rate.
Because they're working.
Now, again, we're only talking 27.
Right.
Okay? Now,
So
out of
let's
190
pause there. Go ahead.
right,
You
out of
finish.
190, the state does not require me to follow their attraction as far as placement goes.
But we're licensing the degree we're licensing the school to grant degrees
And my
in these
question to
areas
you
that
is
are.
that you should be asking me about those placements overseas, but you don't ask me about that.
Well, that's what I want to get clarity on.
We are,
Stan.
when we gather enrollment data, which includes placement, retention, and completion data,
Okay.
it is related to your license. So students that are enrolled under your license, which is in the state of Florida. So that should encompass, I think what you're telling us is all 190 students.
That's what I think, so.
Yeah, if they're going through a degree that is under this license, wherever their home address is,
Yep.
is inconsequential to me. They should be included in what is being included in this license. So you showing 100% retention rate on here, but telling me you only had X amount out of 400 who are actually active. So that's not 100% retention rate.
It's 100% retention rate for the 27 employees
Well,
that he
perhaps.
has.
You need
Yeah.
to change your CIE requirements,
Yeah.
because you specifically state
Rotation of
only the
rules.
state of Florida. Joey, get in here. And I can guarantee you that the people out here who do have students overseas are suffering the same thing, because you're only asking for Florida people. And if that's the case, your parameters are skewed. I could only give you 27 students validation out of 190 active, okay? But you have others sitting here from other countries. I can guarantee you're only thinking
just
about
uh,
doesn't-
Florida.
So I guess
Go ahead.
from an integrity of the school and of the licensure process viewpoint, we can't only be responsible for the integrity of the degree that is granted by your institution to only Florida residents. I mean, that's not how we've talked to any of the other schools. So, I'm confused by that.
Acknowledging that the rules need further clarity. Form 801, and that will be an ongoing theme everyone in the room, so we will get there. We will all get there, but we'll get there. The rule, Form 801 and the similar rule under finances requests tuition revenue generated in the state of Florida and enrollment related to Florida students. That being said, the commissioners may ask for any additional information that they would like that would illustrate to them a larger picture of the institution. Is that a difficult thing for the school to provide?
The holistic enrollment picture that we're asking for of the 190.
Well, maybe a little difficult to acquire in such a short period of time, because now we're talking about requesting information about placements in Russian and Ukrainian and other countries' languages to ensure that they are actually working, other than to take the student's word for it.
And just to be clear, those individuals are students that are all over the place. They're matriculating under the program that is licensed by this body.
Yes.
Then that
They
is
will
revenue that got created in the state of Florida.
Right.
Yes,
Correct.
Right.
yes.
It's all.
That's my point.
It's all
Is
just
it doesn't matter where they live, they're paying tuition through the license within the state of Florida. So they have been excluded for the purposes of financials here, and you're looking at only the residents of the state of Florida.
Which is not.
You see the difference?
Okay?
Right, but those are two different things. The Florida students and revenue created in the state of Florida are two different things.
I was trying to give you more information.
If I may,
Yeah.
if I may make a comment, I think that as we think about future revisions and clarity, what we're really getting after is we want consistency in the scope of reporting.
Yes.
And we want it disaggregated in the sense that we want it at a larger scope level and then grouped by the constituents or places that
Right.
are serviced.
Agreed.
Right, so that way we could evaluate both units of analysis because all of our questions stem from the fact that some of this information comes from a global unit of reporting and some of it comes from a localized unit of reporting, and we're seeing a disjunct here and it's impossible for us to offer evaluation when these are inconsistent. And so we need to work on that, whatever the mechanism is.
Yeah, and to be clear, I don't want to get in the weeds here. In 2018, 2019, you had 418 students, and today you're saying you have 27, and you lost $500,000 last year. Okay, so my concern is for the students that are being served, and that's why I'm on this issue. Is I'm trying to understand the impact that it's having on outcomes when we're showing a 100% retention rate that we know is not correct.
Well, just to clarify, that 400 student was the entire student body of the school. Did not reflect just Florida, but all the student body. That's why when you asked for
That's my point.
total revenue, I gave you total revenue. Now, how it's broken down is something else.
No, that's my point, is that was your entire enrollment.
There you
But
go.
your financials are supposedly Florida, but really not Florida because other people in other countries are still registering under this license, which means the revenue's created in Florida.
I'm sorry, how many altogether do you have for 21, 22? Forget where they're from. How many students registered this year?
As of June 2020, we have 190.
No, as of now. The academic year
like I said,
21, 22, 23.
As of June 2020, when this report was put, we had 190. So we're talking June, we only had one more class start. That was about maybe 6 students more, maybe
You're talking
196.
2020, but we're on 2022.
That's what I'm trying to say. As of June 2022, I have 190 students.
Okay.
That's what the report has reflected. Where are they from? They're all over the place.
Right.
But 27 of them come from the state of Florida. Now, what I gave you as far as total revenue,
Was what?
everybody. But that's what it is, total revenue.
If I understand, you're implying that there's currently 276.
Or accepting his.
No, what I'm going to say is 196.
Right, but you said
190 as of-
190 plus
Plus the 6, give or take.
plus 6, or did you say 86?
No, no, please. I wish.
Okay,
6. So we're talking about 196 as of right now.
okay.
Okay? The revenue that I reflect was, as stated in our annual report, that was dated up on December 31, 2021.
And that was for everything.
Everything.
So the entire company did $186,000 last year.
That's correct, sir.
No matter what country you were in.
No matter
where
what
you were
country,
operating in.
except for Venezuela, because we can't touch that money.
So you see the conundrum, right?
No, trust me. And I enjoy when I talk to our program specialist, when he says, no, Reyes, just focus on Florida. Great. I give you my results. Here's my retention. Here's my placement rate. Okay? But they made it very clear, only the state of Florida. And that's what I provide. And I believe my fellows back here can oblige it. That's what basically you do, right? So I'm not the only one in this boat now.
Yeah, we're not saying you've done something wrong. I'm not implying that.
Okay, no,
I want
understand.
you to understand that. What we've got is a smattering of information that is international.
Yes.
A smattering of information that is local.
Yes.
And a license that ties those local numbers to your international enrollment.
I truly understand.
So
And then
there's
we
no
also,
clarity there.
and
When
we
the
also have
commission decides
processes.
to modify that
And we have
paragraph,
processes and
which I'm
forms
assuming that's what you're going to do.
that lead to that disparity or the disconnect between that information.
Sure.
That it's either in rule or it's in our processes, and that has to get rectified. Because I'm seeing it like very clearly also that just looking at a school that is serving globally and only looking at the Florida residents that are being served by that school is not what is this body's charge to manage or maintain quality and integrity of license, right? So I think that we have to get to a rectifying or a clarification on that and move quickly to fix that.
I think that may have worked when everybody was sitting in a classroom in the state of Florida. But as we're moving to more and more asynchronous program, the
I mean, at the
integrity
bare
of the
minimum.
degree
Yep.
is what, if a school is authorized by us, we need to know everything about everybody that's going to get a degree. So
Agreed.
if you have a subcommittee, I want to be on it.
And it might be the distance, it might even be come up through the distance education piece. You know,
Absolutely.
that might be
Yeah,
where it
which
is,
Yeah.
where it lives. Okay. So, for purposes of your application for annual license today, I would take a motion, and I'm going to kind of work with me here. The motion that is to accept the staff's recommendation, which would be to extend the provisional license through November 30, 2023, meaning that we would deny the application for annual license based on the financial soundness of the institution. Additionally, and these are the contingencies, a financial progress report shall be filed with the commission for the March 2023 and July 2023 commission meetings. The report shall include updated financial statements to show the effectiveness of the financial improvement plan per rule. And then I'd also like to add another contingency to add additional clarification on enrollment, holistic enrollment for the institution, unless we can't ask for that right now. So, and it doesn't mean that you have to turn it around tomorrow, it's just that we would like to look at the enrollment of your 190 and see where they are and how they're progressing. So that's the motion.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The motion is approved.
This was a good day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. The next institution for application for annual license is Nexus University Miami, number 3985. Sure.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Janie Bailey. I'm the Director of School of Health Sciences and Nursing and the Interim Vice Chancellor for Academics.
Jessica Suito, Vice Chancellor of Administration.
Commissioners, any discussion for this school?
What is your current headcount enrollment as of 2022?
We have 89 students.
Okay.
Until,
I'm sorry, 89?
89 until October 31st this year.
Can you give me some understanding of your corporate structure, your affiliates, your hierarchy? Are you a standalone entity, or is there a bigger picture?
Both. Actually, we are a standalone institution here. We are licensed here. We are incorporated here in Florida.
Right.
We also have our parent company, which is an international university, well known in Chile, with over 35 years of trajectory. So the funds come from Chile to finance the operations, even though we are, servicing Florida here. And we are an American institution, corporation as well.
Can you talk about your current enrollments relative to your previous projections on what that would be when you applied for your provisional? Just so where are you relative to where you thought you would be?
We are, I think, a little bit over to what we expected due to, well, a specific good opportunity that we have with an articulation agreement overseas, but we are very well there in terms of revenue and enrollment.
So you guys are happy with your performance to date?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
And last year's too.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Is there anything from staff on the financials? Okay. Hearing no further discussion, I will take a motion to accept the staff recommendation to extend the provisional license through September 30, 2023, which is denying the application for annual license pursuant to Section 1005.31 of the Florida rule based on financial soundness of the institution. And in order to maintain the provisional license, the institution must comply with the following contingencies: submission of a completed Form 604, selected financial data to accompany the financial statement presented to the Commission, submission of financial statements of the controlling principles compiled, reviewed, or audited by an independent certified public accountant. These statements must demonstrate sufficient resources to ensure appropriate institutional development. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, the motion is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'd like to take a short recess. We'll reconvene in 10 minutes. I love the power of the silence. I think every classroom teacher might need a gavel. Okay, we're going to get started again. Next on the agenda are issues related to, whoops, I didn't flip the page. No, I lost my place. Applications for extensions of annual license, and we have none in section D, so we'll move on to E. On the agenda is applications for annual renewal, and there is an addition to the agenda, numbers 11 and 12, City College, for a total of 12 institutions in this section. We have the opportunity to take these items by consent. Is there a motion from the commission to take this section by consent?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
The motion is approved to take the items in section E by consent. Now I will ask each commissioner to identify any items that they wish to pull. I'll give you a minute. I'm sorry, can you use your mic, sir?
As we pull this up, would it be possible to start with staff comments and then ask if there's any additional that? It's always so helpful. Yeah.
That works for me. If it works for you, Mayor, Executive Director.
Commissioner Stefano, you're seeking the schools that we had questions for or general commentary? I'm sorry.
Asking if there are any institutions that staff recommend be pulled or that you had questions for.
Staff has additional questions for number 2, Bridgeway School of Nursing. Other than that, we are comfortable with the remaining recommendations as is. Does that answer your question? Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Number
Commissioner
2.
Taylor Ellis,
Yeah.
would you have
Pull-
any?
Pull number 2.
Okay.
I would like to review the financial concerns.
Okay. Any others?
No.
Commissioner Cross?
No,
Would you
no
like to-
additional.
No additional? Commissioner Marty? No. Commissioner Stefano?
No additional.
Commissioner Williams?
I had number 2 also.
Okay. And I'd like to pull number 6. Okay, so the motion then is to accept staff's recommendations to approve the application for annual renewal with contingencies as outlined for items number 1, 3, 4, 5, 7 through 10. Oh, 7 through, 12.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, great. So now we'll move on to hearing from those that have been pulled, and that first school is Bridgeway School of Nursing, Orlando, number 6473. Hello.
Good morning, Doctor. My name is Dr. Charmaine Watson.
Good morning, Marisha Tucker McFadden, Director of Operations.
Okay, great.
Dr. Jose Otero, Otero Consulting Group.
Hi, I think I missed my title. I am the director of the program.
Okay, commissioners, any discussion, questions?
Can you tell us, Dr. Watson, where you guys are performance-wise relative to what your original projections were upon licensing? How do you feel like you're doing relative to where you thought you would be?
Okay. Can I give you a little bit of a
Please.
back history?
Yeah, let's talk
Okay.
about it.
When our company started back in 2016, and we started with our NCLEX review program, and we decided to create a nursing program. It was around 2019 or so, and our first class started January of 2021 in the middle of COVID. And because of that, we had the enrollment that we were anticipating did not come forth, and we found that there was another issue that students were looking for a lot of FAFSA ways to get loans that the school could not give at that time. So we got together and we said, okay, let's make a plan. We were LLC at that time, and we decided that we were going to fund the school until it gets accredited. The school has no debt. We have funded it every year, and we plan on doing so until we get accredited. In saying so, our program is 20 months long, so we just had our first class that graduated, and we have a 100% pass rate with our students. In doing so, we're hoping that that word will get out. We would have increase our enrollment. We have had another company, a loan company, that has partnered with us to give our students loan. That just came through this August. And so we have had a lot of inquiries since then. And again, I don't think I mentioned that 90% of our students that do call us, they want some kind of loan. They want some way of getting help to pay for their tuition. So we have put those things in place. We have let them know about our pass rate, let them know about the student loan company that we have partnered with, and we have gained some students from that. And going forward, we have also increased our marketing. We weren't really doing a lot of marketing before then. That was not our strength. But now we have put out some kind of Google ads or something of that kind. I'm sorry, I'm not very knowledgeable in that marketing area. So we have done that, and we have definitely have received a lot of inquiries. And we have also noticed that some of the students that have inquired, they're looking for maybe adding some of the prereqs that we offer. They don't fully have the prereqs. And there are other things that I kind of look for in students that I really would like to help them with. We serve a very diverse population in Orlando, and a lot of the students are English as second language. So by interviewing them, I'm realizing even though they do take English 1 or English 2, to get where it is in nursing and carry a average of B, you need to have a little bit more than that. So we are actually talking about what can we do to help these students that are coming in so they could meet the criteria that we require to bring them through to actually pass that NCLEX, because there's no sense getting a student, admitting them into the program, and they fail at the end. You know, that's not what we're about. So I know you asked about money, but there's so many things around it.
Sure.
And our financials, we were an LLC, so my husband and I, our financials were shown that it has stability then, but then last year we kind of separated into an S Corp, and now you only see the school's financial. But the school can be funded until accreditation.
Yeah, no, this is a great answer, and I applaud you guys for, ownership, not taking compensation out of the gate, paying instructors as contractors initially, right, prior. You made some fiscally sound decisions there. I think your lease ran up in this year. How did that go on your renewal?
Oh, the lease? Oh, our landlord is really great. She's a dermatologist.
You should count yourself lucky.
Yeah, she's just, yeah, she's really awesome. I don't think she raised anything, maybe like $5? It went up a little bit.
It went.
Yeah.
Yes, it went up by maybe 3 to 5%, but nothing that wasn't still manageable.
Yeah, no, I ask only because you guys originally signed that lease in 2018 or 19, and it's a different world, right, than it was then, and just wanted to make sure that you didn't get dinged with a unsustainable operating overhead.
So our current move this. Our current location is actually within a medical building, so we have the opportunity to be able to see other people who may be interested in our school. As they see us operating, we see them operating. So the dermatologist, who's our landlord, is actually right next to us.
Nice.
And is looking to maybe send her students or the people who work there with us, and we're right next to Orlando Health, Dr. Phillips. So we do have a lot of medical things around us that help to bring students in.
Sure. So just a couple of other things. It sounds like you've got a lot riding on this accreditation, right?
Yes, we do, but one of our biggest things that we, to help students come in is the Meritize, I believe. Meritize, a student loan company, has partnered with us and allows students to have that opportunity of the possibility of getting a student loan. And so we have seen some positive feedback from that.
Yep, absolutely. I'm familiar with them, and they do pretty good work there. The percentages aren't as painful for you to endure. Yes. Right, as some of the other third-party financiers. Well, I hope that accreditation brings I don't want to call it a windfall, but brings the profitability up where you guys don't have to continue feeding this. But I think you've done a good job of bootstrapping this, and thank you for explaining it. You're obviously committed to outcomes, and I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Have you applied for to be an individual training provider for CareerSource? Are your students able to access CareerSource workforce development funding? Your local CareerSource?
Yeah.
It's something that you should consider.
Oh, we were told that we have to be accredited in order?
No, license.
License. Good grief.
So that would help you with your students having a way to pay to cover their expenses, so that's just something to look into.
Just want to add a quick piece to it. We, from our end of it, we deal a great deal with CareerSource throughout the state, and we're finding that starting from Miami and circling sort of like a U going down towards Sarasota, that they're asking for not just licensing, because in Sarasota, even if your company is 1 year old and you never had a license, as soon as you get licensed, you can qualify. They're sort of stopping the buck. So now we have to now intervene and say, hey, it's not in the regulations on accreditation, it's licensing is the recognition. So we have to sort of
It
fix
is
that
situation.
individual by each board has their own individual authority to do some of that. So
Yeah, and usually when we intervene, we get the other folks talking and then it clears.
Right.
But we have to hit the roadblock first.
right, okay, well, that's a good point. Any other discussion?
I just had a continuation.
Yes, please.
Congratulations on your pass rates. Those are great. I like your focus there. How sustainable is it where you can keep putting in money to the organization in the last 2 years?
We have a 5-year plan so far, and the company's in no debt. So we are at the point where we can apply for a loan to keep us for another 2 years. We can do that. We currently have 5 staffs and myself, and then 2 or 3 administrative staff. So we are not at the point where we're even cutting staff as yet.
What is your student growth plan
Okay.
So one of the reasons that we had such low student numbers beforehand was that students were having a really difficult time being able to pay for their education, and nursing programs are not cheap. So being that we now have meritized and we have different ways for students to be able to pay, it allows for more students to have the opportunity to attend our school. We've increased our marketing in Google Ads and in other places. So now we have a broader reach or a broader scope. And in addition to that, more students have the opportunity to pay now. So that's our hope and our plan for being able to increase student numbers.
So what is your plan for 2023 on new enrollments and total population?
So our hope is to reach about 25 to 30. For 2021, we had, I think, 23 students. Currently, we have, because we had graduates, we have about 16 or so, but we start a couple of cohorts per year. So we have multiple start dates that allow for more students to join throughout the year.
And they join that original cohort, or is it a standalone cohort?
There are, I guess, 2 start dates for the same cohort per year. So January and July. May. January and May is one start for a cohort, and then for December and January, it's another, September and January is another start for a different cohort. So it's 2 starts, and then that's for the ASN program, and then we have a different start date for our PN program.
And the question is more about your space, your classroom space, 2 classrooms, 1 lab. If all the marketing is working, you're going to need more space. And so I had a question about the lease, and it sounds like you renewed, but is there access to gain more space at that site?
So we actually have a really interesting layout in terms of when students come to school. It's staggered. It's not an everyday deal. So even though we have a limited amount of space, 2 classrooms, 1 lab, we do have days when some students are not in the building. So while some students are at clinicals, other students could be in the lab. So it allows for us to be able to play around with the timing instead of the space.
For at least a year, probably, right?
For some time, right? So one of the benefits of having smaller numbers is that we have the ability to play around with the space that we have. We're not expecting to grow to 150 students in the next year or 2. So we're hoping that slow and steady wins the race in this case, and we're keeping with working the space that we have and with the time that we have. So growing to even 30 students in the next year or 2, we should be able to play with the space and the time, moving some students in, some students out at clinicals and whatnot, to be able to allow those students to have the appropriate amount of time in class.
Okay, thank you.
I just want to add to that. For nursing schools, you have to be very careful because the amount of students that you let in, you have to make sure that you have the enough clinical sites and the limited amount of students that are there. So growth has to be really steady, and how we admit students into the program, we have to make sure that we can actually do that clinical-wise with 8 to 10 students at a time, because the clinical sites do not allow but only so many students. So I don't think we'll be at 150 students in 1 year, only because of that, how everything is set up from clinical sites to rotation. And I think our lab, even though we have 1 lab, we have other rooms, that has mannequins that we can extend into as well, that we're not quite using fully, but we rotate the mannequins out, in and out of it.
And I looked at nursing equipment, and it only had $3,500. So I assumed you didn't have high fidelity mannequins or.
We have $3,500.
That might have.
No, that's a big error. We have a high fidelity mannequin, 2 mid fidelity mannequin, a OB mannequin as well. We have a neonate, 2 babies. Yeah, we have to correct that. We do have mannequins.
Well, that's why I was a little bit concerned. And with 1 lab, I was just, it's a limited resource if you don't have those mannequins.
Oh, no, I don't know. We're going to have to really correct that really quickly.
I think that $3,500 might have been in new resources for that time period.
Got it.
And so we acquired one more new mannequin, our high fidelity mannequin at 35, or I think that was one of our mid fidelity mannequins at 3,500. But most of our mannequins and materials were from beforehand. And we do, like Dr. Watson mentioned, we do have quite a few mannequins and ample materials for the students to be able to practice.
Thank you.
I have just two more things before I let you guys go. Do you, you have a very conservative accountant, and there may be opportunities for you to use this NOL that you have carried over in a more creative way that that I think is going to benefit your cash position in the future. So if that makes sense at all, I think it's something worth looking at for you guys, because if I heard you correctly earlier, you were an S-selected LLC.
Yeah, so
You mean you're an escort?
LLC and we turn it into escort.
So you're S-selected, right? So that it's gonna limit you a little bit on those opportunities, and we don't have to belabor the point now, but I think there's a chance for you to increase your cash position once you get that accreditation a little better, and we can chat at lunch. I just want to help you.
Thank you.
Excellent. Any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to accept staff's recommendations for Bridgeway School of Nursing to grant the annual license upon the following contingencies being met: submission of an updated enrollment agreement and catalog to include a refund policy in compliance with Rule 6E. And that's it.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The motion is approved.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you. The next school pulled for discussion is New York Film Academy, South Beach, Miami, number 5251.
Hello, good morning. My name is Mylene Dominguez, and I'm the Dean of the campus at New York Film Academy, South Beach. Nice to see you all.
Nice to see you too. So I just had a couple questions. A lot of mine are just interest and inquiry. What is the tuition rate? Because I get it that your accrediting body doesn't require some of the things that I'm just interested in. So I'm sure you know it. I'm just curious what it is.
Yes, we are at about $20,000 for the semester. So I think it's about $40,000 per year.
Okay. And so I am also interested in understanding, you have a lot of different programs, and so can you just give me a kind of a summary as to where your best student outcomes are, like what your programs are that reap the best results for your students in getting jobs and employment?
Yes, so we only currently run the acting and film programs. We're approved to do other programs in the state of Florida, but we only do the acting and film. We do
Acting in film?
Yeah, so it's acting for film and our film program. So it's a 1 year, we have a 1 year acting for film, 1 year film, BFA acting for film, BFA film, MFA acting for film, MFA film. And we seem to have a greater interest these days in the acting for film program. So that is kind of an interesting thing that's shifted, which is not the case in our other campuses in New York and Los Angeles. But because normally film is a lot easier to get a job because you can get a production assistant position. It's a lot easier than acting. But for whatever reason, we have had more students be interested in acting, and I think it's because there's less competition for acting schools in Florida right now. But our students have been successful in both of those, just from our campus. I can list you a lot of the, people, Issa Rae went to New York Film Academy, not in Miami, but in Los Angeles. We've had lots of, our admissions reps have the list of all of the famous students that have come through our school. And we've had some great successes in South Beach as well. Just film festival awards and, getting jobs on big productions and on film sets. So we've been doing well. But again, our accreditor does not ask us to track the specifics. So we do just internally to know, but it's not, for us, it's really important that we always tell our students, like, we're teaching you these crafts, we're teaching you these skills. You're going to know exactly what to do when you get out in the world, but it's a tough business, and there are no guarantees. And it's really important for us to be very upfront about that as well. Unlike nursing, where you can, you teach a skill and there's a direct line.
Yeah, it's a direct
That's
match.
just the reality.
And are you seeing a change in the market at all around production of streaming, like all of the series that are on every different streaming platform now? Is that different skill set when you say film?
Yeah.
Is that all inclusive?
That's a really, really great question. We teach the art of visual storytelling, and that's actually something that happens in both acting and in film. So you have to teach how to tell a good story, first and foremost. And then beyond that, how it is that you do that is always going to change. Technology is going to shift. These things are going to constantly be moving in all sorts of different directions. But the skill set that they're learning, which is specifically Hollywood-style filmmaking and acting, which is the best in the world, most successful in the world, the most money generating in the world, that is something that that we teach, and that is like, really like, in a way, it's a skill. I always say to people that this is the piece of it where, yeah, you're born with whatever creative artistic ability you have, but there is everybody has natural creative ability, in my personal opinion, but how it is that you harness that is a real skill. It's very technical, and there is a craft to it, and we teach that craft, and I think we teach it in the best way possible. So from that, whatever it is that shifts and whatever it is that changes in the world of technology, or how it is that it comes out, doesn't really matter, because our students are prepared for it. Having said that, to speak to your point, we definitely also teach our actors, for example, because you now have to self-promote. We have them, learn how to make little. They're required actually to make little films as well, so they can showcase their acting ability, so they're not dependent necessarily on a writer, a producer, a director to showcase their artistic abilities. But they also make plays. They also do. They also work on voiceover. We're teaching all angles, so that there's a broad range of ways that they can take this craft and these skills.
But you are not providing any kind of placement, what we would call placement services, right? So
no, we have a career services department in Los Angeles that meets regularly throughout the program, and we also have a film festival coordinator that's very robust. So we have two, and we have an internship program as well that is part of our. It's not required to graduate; it's optional. So we have these three ways, and we have an advisory board of people in the business that come together to come up with plans and strategies and help create these internships and these jobs. So we, like this career services person meets with them at the very beginning, meets with them in the middle, meets with them at the end to come up with a plan. And we have, when they graduate, we have an alumni hub, a very robust alumni hub that is mostly based on, obviously, Los Angeles, New York, Los Angeles, New York, and Miami, but obviously we'll also have things in Atlanta and some of the other hubs that are happening. And those jobs are posted there. All of our students, the minute that they graduate, they have access to that. Before they graduate, we have a student hub, which lists all of the current internships that are available for them to do and try. So they meet with that person regularly depending on where they are in the program and what it is that is available to them. Internships they're only allowed to do after they're successful and have been in the program for a full year, because they can't get distracted by it. One of the things that's really important is that they have to have a certain grade, and they have to have a professor that's kind of managing and watching it. And then the film festival person, the same thing. She meets with them throughout and is strategizing with them, like for what it is that they're particularly interested in, so that they can start to market and target towards those particular film festivals that exist out there. And and then wherever it is they are, we help them. So we've been very successful with that.
yeah, those all sound like really important strategies, especially for the student to build their network. So how do your students pay? Are they all majority self-pay?
That's a good question. I don't have that number off the top of my head, though I could call my financial advisor person right now to find out. But it's a mixture with financial aid and self-pay.
Okay.
I would say 50-50, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm curious about access, like wanting to make
Yeah.
sure that students that, students
Oh,
that don't
we
have
have-
means have a way to get into a
So we have
dream path that they
financial aid. Thank you for that. We have financial aid. We have scholarships, and we also take Florida prepaid, and we do no, not Florida prepaid. What am I? Bright Futures.
Bright Futures.
Sorry, Bright Futures. What am I talking about? That's University of Florida. my daughter just went through the college process. That's fresh on my mind. So basically, that is that's kind of so we do, when our students come, they basically, we'll help them wherever we can, and we definitely try to make it as accessible as we can. And we do have I guess the reason why I like this job and why I'm in this job is that I really believe that everybody has a story to tell. And so it's important for me to make space for people to be able to tell the story that might not have the chance to do so. So that is a very important priority for us.
Do you offer federal financial aid?
We offer financial aid, yes. Federal financial aid, and we offer our own financial aid.
Anyone else have any other questions? Thank you. That was really just information for me I just appreciate learning.
Yeah.
And it was great information. So without any other discussion, I would make a motion to accept staff recommendation, which I got to get to. Sorry.
I second.
To grant the annual license.
Second.
Motion?
So moved.
Second, okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. The motion is approved.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Great reporting, thank you. Okay. So that concludes section E. Moving on to section F, there are no applications for license by means of accreditation. Moving on to item G on the agenda is annual review of license by means of accreditation. There is an addition to the agenda, item number 13, Rasmussen University, for a total of 13 institutions in this section. I would take a motion to review this section by consent.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The motion to take section G by consent is approved. And now I will ask each of the commissioners if they have any items that they would like to pull for discussion.
Madam Chair, I'm affiliated with Herzing University in this section.
Okay. Noted. And I think Executive Director Pelton will follow Dr. Stefano's interest in seeing staff's inquiry first.
Staff has, additional questions for number 1, American Medical Academy.
I'll also make a comment. I'm not affiliated with St. John Vianney College Seminary, but I've taught there in the past, and they are the minor seminary that is one of the primary feeders to my institution, St. Vincent de Paul Regional Seminary. So people go there and they get their bachelor's degree in philosophy, or they study in preparation for the priesthood, and after that they go and do their 5-year MDiv program at the major seminary. So just putting that affiliation out there.
Yes, please.
If I could inquire, Commissioner, just to clarify the record, does this decision in any way impact your direct financial interests?
Absolutely not.
Okay, then you wouldn't have any statutory conflict with resolve to it.
It was sharing information, I mean, I don't work there.
Thank you.
Commissioner Cross, do you have any that you would like to pull for discussion?
Item number one, which I think staff is, it's
Okay.
maybe a question to the executive director or to you, and maybe not to the school, but
So
related
we'll
to
have it
number
during
one.
that. Okay, great.
No, nothing.
No others? Commissioner Marty? No others? And Commissioner Stefano? Any others you would like to pull? No, I have none either. And so we will now ask, let me see how I say this, I forget. So I need a motion to accept staff recommendation on items 2 through 13.
So move.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The motion is approved to accept staff recommendations on consent items 2 through 13. And that brings us to discussion on American Medical Academy, Miami, number 3420. And is there anyone here from American Medical Academy? No. So, Commissioner Cross, did you want to ask staff the questions that you were thinking of?
Yeah, I just, since the school closed their ASN program, could we add as a contingency to request that they submit that elimination of that program to the commission? Is that the right question? or the right request?
Sounds. I'll ask Executive Director to respond.
We can certainly add that as a contingency, yes.
Thank you.
Were there any other?
Not from my end.
Okay. Any others? Hearing none, we'll take a motion to accept staff's recommendations for American Medical Academy, Miami, number 3420, to accept the annual review. The annual review materials have been submitted and meet the requirements set forth in rule. The license by means of accreditation continues to enforce through February 28, 2026. The institution shall submit an annual review pursuant to rule, and also an added contingency to remove the nursing degree. Is that the correct vote?
So move.
Mr. Richmond, is that close enough? Okay.
We have a motion and a
So moved.
second, and a second from Commissioner Marty. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The motion is approved. Next, there are no applications for program approvals and modifications in item H. Section I on the agenda is motion for extension of license for 1 year. And we have one school, Orlando Health Sciences University Celebration, number 10184. Commissioners, are there any, oh, here we are. Welcome. Provisional license. Hello. Please introduce yourselves.
Dr. Robert Hasty. I am the Dean and the Chief Academic Officer for Orlando Health Sciences University, the Orlando College of Osteopathic Medicine proposed.
And I'm Dr. Dan Newholler. I'm the President and CEO.
Chris Giorgetti, Santoro and Giorgetti.
Okay.
2 Ts, right?
And an I.
And I.
I'll dot it again for you.
Okay. Commissioners, are there any questions or discussion?
Yeah, I would love to hear how your performance is year to date. We don't have those backdated numbers for 2022 relative to what your pro forma projections were, just where you stand currently.
Excellent question, Commissioner. Thank you for that. We are doing quite well on our budget, year to date. We are operating within a deficit, until, probably about our third year of, medical students. And so it's going to be a few years from now. Starting in medical school is not a cheap endeavor, but, we're blessed with excellent funding.
And on your horizon, you're looking at 2 more years, something like that, to be cash flow positive?
Actually, I think it's probably going to be closer to 3 more years.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
How many students enrolled currently?
0.
Oh.
So what's the plan in that regard then?
Yeah.
Excellent. So right now, I'm happy to report, since the last time we met with CIE, that we obtained candidate status from the Commission on Osteopathic Colleges of Accreditation, which is a major milestone, and we received that last September 1st, and it's publicly reported with COCA. We are anticipating a site visit from COCA on January 24th through the 26th, which we're publicly reporting on our website. We anticipate that we will receive pre-accreditation in the second half of the calendar year 2023, with our plans to take our first cohort of 90 students in the fall of 2024.
So you're in a holding pattern, huh?
Correct, yes, sir. Yeah.
Right.
All of 2024?
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm sorry, how many was that?
90 students,
okay.
yeah. We have applied for a total of 180 spots, but we're staggering the start, so the first year will be 90 students, the second year will be 135 students, and then the third year, 180 students.
So I guess my question would be for staff or executive director emeritus even, would be, so this would be a pretty standard, I would guess, for a medical school to have longer than an annual time frame to get started. So this is pretty common in this vertical. Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to accept staff's recommendation. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Director Emeritus has a question.
Oh, sure.
Do you have any affiliation with that osteopathic school up in Dothan in Alabama?
We do not. I certainly respect that. The ACOM, the Alabama College of Osteopathic Medicine, it's an excellent school. My friends are up there, but we're not affiliated. I guess the only connection is that our architect is the same as their architect up there.
So the motion would be to accept staff's recommendations to grant the extension of provisional license through November 30, 2023 for Orlando Health Sciences University in Celebration.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The motion is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you.
See you next time. The next section is, Section J is motion for extension of licensure. We have one ACESO, Institute of Health Professions in Longwood, number 7630. And you'll tell me how you say that. I'm sure you don't spell it out like I did.
whispered Acesso. It is Acesso.
Acesso, I whispered, okay.
My name is
Acesso.
Nikki Nelson. I'm the program director.
I'm Deborah Jones. I'm the Director of Education.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions?
Well, we had an interesting conversation about how their organization could potentially support other organizations, helping overcome the barrier of entry, right? Am I saying that correctly, for admittance, entrance exams, right?
That and, well, we do NCLEX prep primarily, so it would be more towards the end of the program or integrated into the program.
Can you get closer to the microphone?
Is it closer or? Okay. We do NCLEX prep or remediation review, however you want to call it. It would be more towards the end of the program.
Oh, I see.
But we have brought schools from failing percentage pass rates to 100%. So We definitely do have that.
So you broke the code.
Yes. And we're very proud of it.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Right?
And-
This
and
is,
do
this
you
is
partner-
these are your people, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
And do you partner directly with organizations who need that prep?
We have, yes. Mhm.
Can you tell me what that relationship looks like?
So it's more of okay, so the previous school that we had was in 2020. They would send their students, once they finished with the program there, their nursing program, they would then send them to us, and we did it over 8 weeks. It was an 8-week review just before they went and studied. The school paid us directly.
Okay,
So it
that's
wasn't-
what
it
I was
wasn't a
wondering,
cost
is
to
if
the
the student or
students.
the school
Right.
was paying you directly.
Right. Mhm.
Right. And how many of those relationships do you have with other schools who may be benefiting from this?
None right now. We are talking to somebody, but nothing's set in stone as of right now.
But informally, we do have, how do you say this, groups of students from schools that come over.
Oh, yeah.
Huge groups of them, they'll bring other members of their cohort over because they're
Individually, just as a
Right.
student,
Yes,
not
right,
as
yes.
a professional relationship, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And then they pay you individually, not through their tuition.
Right. If the students come to us, they pay us directly.
Do you have relationships with schools where your fees are bundled with their tuition?
No, not as of right now, no.
I feel like I'm on, you don't offer any other programs? I might be on the wrong one.
So we do have the CNA, which is what the
Okay.
annual license is reflecting.
Okay,
And we
that's
just got approved for the PN and the RN to BSN, which will be starting next year.
Okay. And what are your fees for your NCLEX prep?
It would depend, they range between $1,800 and $2,100.
Why is it variable?
Depends on how they do the delivery. We have 3 different course options,
Ah.
so it depends on delivery.
Okey dokey. I'm also very interested in this, just since you said this about NCLEX. So is there an opportunity, though, too, for the front end, to what Commissioner Williams kind of alluded to, is there to getting people prepped for success in nursing programs?
Yes, absolutely. We actually
of HESI, but that
have
might-
it set up for our PN program to incorporate our entire review and remediation throughout the course and again at the end of the course before they go and test.
We
for
have
the
a
NCLEX.
section, sorry.
No, go ahead.
We have a section at the beginning as well on things that we see students struggle with that we cover in our reviews. So when they start their program, their core nursing courses, they're ready to go. We've had another school have us come in and do their dosage calculation course for their pharmacology class because their students couldn't pass. They have to have 100% on their math to pass that course, so we can get them up there.
And our NCLEX remediation has a 90% pass rate, so.
Has a what?
90% pass rate. So, and this is for students that come to us after being unsuccessful with their boards already. So they've already had a 1 or 2 year nursing program, and then they come to us.
Interesting.
So this is why I love the free market.
Yeah.
You know, what you're doing is supportive of so many of the people in this room, and I'm sure they would, applaud the results that you have and also benefit from the services that you're providing. In fact, I think I said this yesterday, it was rising tides raise all boats, and it's really, really interesting what you're doing. And I know you have other programs that are coming online as well. It's ironic that we're most interested in the one that is prepping for those who have previously failed, but I think therein lies the rub, right? We're focused on outcomes, and I'm glad you're here in person, and I hope you have the opportunity to engage with some of the other individuals in here, because I think you're in white space in this market in what is otherwise a very saturated market, but you've managed to find some white space in a niche that everyone can benefit from, including the student and especially the student. So to the extent that you can expand that program and make it more available, I think it would make everyone in this room's job easier.
Yep.
So I applaud you on that. 90% for those who have previously failed is incredible.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see that there's an opportunity for you even for our public institutions, and I don't know if you've thought about that. I'm happy to talk to you about it offline, but that's something that I would be, I'm thinking about some other funding, legislative funding allocations that came through this year, that, for nursing particularly, but where we're all we're all just creating the filler of that gap for the upfront readiness and then the post-completion NCLEX success. So, I think it's something that I'm happy to talk about because I think that there's some opportunity there as well.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
We did have another university reach out to us for skills prep for their instructors as well, so we're in negotiation with them for that.
Yeah, that's perfect, brilliant. Because like when you say that about the pharmacology math, I mean, it's mind-blowing how many students can have great scores through math, all of their education experience, but not pass these math quizzes that are very specific to dosing.
Right.
And it's really surprising, right?
She's
That it's a stumbling block.
That's her.
You've cracked the code? You've cracked the
I
code
did.
for that?
I
That's
did.
brilliant. I want to know what that code is.
Well, I have to tell you as well, most of our clientele are completely, when we get them, they're demoralized, they're beat down, they feel stupid.
Or they're so afraid.
Well, they've also failed NCLEX 6 times, 9 times, and you have to help them fix that and change their mindset as well. So it's kind of heartbreaking in a way when you deal with that, but there's a satisfaction when they call you and they're like, I passed.
That's incredible, yeah.
Are you all prepared for the next gen NCLEX?
We are. Yes,
Good.
we are. We've incorporated excellent resources for our students, even in the review remediation that incorporates part of that. And a big component of the changes are going to be clinical judgment. So even for our PN programs, we're doing something called shadow health, where it's almost like gaming, where you walk in and you talk to your patient. They can respond to millions of things that the student asks them, like they're literally with a patient, they wash their hands, it tracks what they miss. So before they even get to clinical, they feel confident. Our PN students will be going to neurotrauma ICU, the ED, all of the floors. For their clinical. We do that with our review remediation right now. So they're in the ED starting IVs, they're helping with procedures, they're in the OR working equipment, so they're very excited about that. But
Are you tracking data from those who are coming for your remediation post-failing to understand where they've been before and how many times they've taken the test so that we can show the efficacy of that remedial program?
We try not to keep track of the schools because sometimes we don't want to know. But not necessarily that we write it down or anything like that, but we always do talk to them about it.
now you do have, when they enroll, they check why they're there. So we have a lot of people who come just because they want to be successful the first time, but we can track who has been unsuccessful 3 times. We do have that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a gold mine of data, and really an opportunity to leverage that systemically across, to the chair's point, public and private institutions. So I'm just interested to know how you're capturing that data and what you're doing with it. But look, in the end result, people are passing that previously failed, and that's what matters. Right. And they're going on to be gainfully employed. So I like what you're doing, and I think there's an opportunity for that, everyone to benefit at every level.
Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a motion to accept staff's recommendation to grant the extension of the annual license through January 31, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The motion is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. There are no motions for request of extension of time to comply with contingencies, item H. Item L on the agenda is application for substantive change. Item 18, Schiller International University in Tampa, number 2523, has been pulled from the agenda, so there are 19 items in this section. I will take a motion to accept this section by consent.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now I will ask commissioners if they have any items that they would like to pull.
Staff has additional questions for item number 3, East-West
Okay.
College of Natural Medicine.
Item 3?
Yes,
Commissioner Marty, that was you as well? Item 3. Oh, I see, I'm sorry. Are there any others?
I just had 3 and 4.
Oh, 3 and 4? Okay. Commissioner Cross, do you have any?
Nothing additional.
Nothing.
Commissioner Stefano?
I don't have any additional. I have a question regarding what the current process is for accreditation change in light of some of the changes in accrediting bodies. Provided there was ample kind of notice, but I just wanted to get a sense for how institutions are handling that, but that could be taken offline. I do see that accreditation is something that comes up here in some of these institutions. But in terms of calling, none more than have already been called.
Okay. Commissioner Marty? Pardon me?
No, it's okay now.
Okay, so we will then take a motion to accept staff's recommendations on items 1, 2, 4 through 18.
not 5 through
Oh,
18.
I'm sorry. What did I say? So items 1, 2, and 5 through 18.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The motion is approved. Next, we'll hear from number 3, East-West College of Natural Medicine, Sarasota, number 2567. Oh, it goes through 20. 18 was stricken. I caught you.
Hi, Dr. Falaka, East-West College of Natural Medicine, and President.
My name is Connor Trombley. I'm the Chief Compliance and Operations Officer of East-West College of Natural Medicine.
This is Dr. Helen Wu, and the Vice President, Academic Dean.
Welcome. Would you like to start with this?
Certainly. So, and I may need your help, a little bit of education from you about how it's supposed to be done, but in how many chunks per semester are you pulling down financial aid for students?
3 semesters. So we.
How many times per semester?
So the time that we pull down financial aid, it's also dependent on whether the student submits all the requirements to our financial aid director and coordinates it with our servicer, and it's approved for the funding. But we pull it down. We have a January start, we have a May start, and we have an August start.
So you're pulling down once per semester?
Yeah, once per semester.
Okay, what if a student transfers?
If a student transfers out of our institution, it just depends on so say the student transferred at the end of the term, we wouldn't pull money down for in May. If the student was to withdraw in the middle of the term, it depends how far they're in through the term. If they've passed there's a certain deadline in our catalog. If they passed, they're not entitled to a refund, the money's not returned, and they would be considered withdrawn, we wouldn't pull out any more funding.
Okay. So student transfers before the deadline, you are telling the financial aid office, DOE, US DOE, that they have financial aid fund, you're giving back their financial aid so they can pull it down at their next institution.
Correct.
Thank you for confirming.
What's your timeline? Are you doing that within the 30 days?
We are doing that. So if they were to withdraw immediately, we submit, their financial aid director returns the fund. So as soon as they submit the withdrawal form, they give us their letter of intent that they're leaving and they're transferring to another institution. We do that within the same week, as soon as we receive all the paperwork from the student that they're fully withdrawing.
Okay, thank you.
How many staff you currently, and staff and faculty?
So currently, staff and faculty, I believe we're at a total of, I think we're at 13 faculty members. And then staff members, we have a total of staff and administration side, I believe 5. So that would put us at a total of 18 employees.
And you guys have done some hiring recently in the past couple of years, obviously.
Absolutely. So I came on in July. I was previously there back in 2020 when they took over during COVID. I left. I had baby. And I also I work as a consultant for other schools as well as for the Sarasota County, for the Sarasota County government. So I left for that time and was focused on my career, and then I came back in July as their Chief Compliance and Operations Officer. But during that time in 2020, there has been, we've had the school, as you know, we're a medical school, so it's more of a hands-on approach. And during COVID and also taking ownership during 2020 was just a horrific time. It's just never good timing to acquire a business, especially when most places are forced to be shut down. And so thankfully and luckily, the school has triumphed through it. During the time when they had to force to go online, we had to, recreate the program in essence. And then back in 2021, they went to more being on campus, and now starting in 2022, we'll be going back to more of a, we just got approval to do more of, from our accreditors, we've had approval with CIE, that starting in January, we'll be doing more of a hybrid program on a permanent basis. And that is to, the benefit of is to allow our students to have the working opportunity so they're not taking out so many loans, so they're not out of school with this outrageous debt. It also cuts down, our overhead costs that we need as a space as a total. And overall, it's, the future of where I believe education is going to be able to offer those offerings.
And you're asynchronous?
Say that one more time.
Asynchronous, are you doing online programming or?
I
heard you say a hybrid approach. I'm trying to understand.
Oh, a hybrid approach?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so what we will be doing is all the courses in our program that don't require hands-on skill or clinical will be offered on a distance education format. So they will be offered through the 15-week term. They'll be they'll be offered in our learning management system, Google Classroom. And through that, they will have pre-recorded lectures, a discussion post, and professors will be on campus for office hours if there's additional tutoring needed. We also have offered an option for our students that don't feel that they're successful for distance ed to take the class on campus, but majority it would be offered online for the courses that don't require hands-on skill and clinical.
And of the 2 that I see you have there, are these, Director, are these already approved for online of the 2 programs that we're showing there?
Yes, so sorry.
I'm just making sure I understand that. I'm just looking.
They are.
Okay. My last question is, you got a chunk of deferred revenue, and I'm just wanting to understand, congratulations, you had a better year than you did before. Good news. Bad news, lost the same amount of money, even on that higher revenue. And within there, you're showing a chunk of deferred revenue. I just wanted to understand what that, was it a contract that you haven't executed yet, something like that?
Yes, so the reason for the reason for why we have a lot of deferred revenue was during this time our students were complaining that they didn't have the substantial needs and stuff like that. So we decided to within the lines that we were allowed to, is we pulled the money early for the students so it would be on time than we usually do. We usually wait till the semester starts before we actually pull the money down. We ended up doing it, in December. So by the time they started and after their certain deadlines, they would have their money right away. And that caused that we didn't earn our tuition revenue in that year. We wouldn't earn it to the next. So our current 2021 financial statements aren't reflective to really where we're at. We had a really good year in 2022, so I know that when the commission sees what we have for 2022, it's not the same.
That's why I was asking, is I had a feeling that all of that came through at once, and it made things look a lot better on paper than perhaps what it did previously, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, outstanding.
So what's the current enrollment then? We're seeing 2021, so it shows 60, so.
Yeah, so, and I do want to, so the current enrollment right now is 57. We have a projected start of 15 to 25. I say 15 to 25 because even if we have 25 that they're saying they're going to come, you always want to account for the 20%, but I'm more of a pessimistic. They're more optimistic than I am, that I always want to account that we're going to lose half of them, just so we have, we're guaranteed to have those starts.
And where do your graduates go to work? Tell me about that employment connection or how their outlook is.
So the current graduates that we've been speaking with and everything, they either go and start their own practice as an acupuncture physician. We've had graduates go work for the CDC. I know during COVID time we had graduates go work as COVID trackers. They'll do herbology consultants. Usually they go into their own business, but when they're majorly starting out, they'll either partner with somebody or they'll work under a current acupuncture physician's practice.
And what are the tuition fees? I can find it, but it's...
Yeah, absolutely. So the tuition fees is, we charge, the whole program is $72,233. It's billed out semester to about $7,233 a semester. And if you were going to do based on per credit hour, that would roughly equivalent to about $450.86 is what our current program is, what we're charging. I do want to note that our programs is, when you read it, they get the bachelor's and the master's concurrently. So they're enrolled in both programs at the time, and when they graduate, they get both degrees. So it would be the same tuition rate for both degrees.
This is going to be a crazy question, but at what point through your acupuncture programs do you begin using people?
Okay, yeah, so...
Like, how do you make that transition, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I'm gonna get, because I'm a business major,
Sure,
I'm an
sure,
MBA,
sure.
MAs, so I'm gonna let them go into more of the clinical, but I will say, based on what my knowledge of it, is they have 3 transitional phases.
Right.
They have an observer, and then they have to take during the observer, they get evaluated by the physician that supervises them 2 times a semester, and then based on that, once they get through about the program, I think it's after about 3 semesters, they'll take their exam from observer to trainee, and it basically we'll test their clinical practice, and they'll do kind of like the skills to make sure that they're up to par, and they also do a knowledge test, and if they pass that, then they start actually going to needling the patients, or doing what's called a acupuncture massage technique, a tuina, and different stuff on that. But they would be under a more experienced student who's at the intern level. When you get to trainee to intern, they more or less are starting to actually practice as a physician. Now they're still having to consult with the supervisor, they're still being monitored, but they can mortar needle themselves. Trainees get to start touching it, touching the base of it, but the interns really get to start actually practicing as a physician.
And I don't mean this facetiously, but do you accept volunteers on that, the way like a cosmetology school, or is it just each other that you're doing that with?
So we operate a clinic within our school. And that's where, during COVID, we lost a lot of that revenue because we had to shut the clinic down. But now that we've opened the clinic up, revenues they've been very much increased. But we offer our own clinic to the community at a discounted rate than the market rate for acupuncture that they offer in Sarasota. Typically, an acupuncture session in Sarasota for market rate is about $95 to $120 to get for a physician. We charge for student acupuncture, we charge $50 for student acupuncture and about $70 for a professional visit. And then we do different things for family members and stuff like different discounts for veterans and stuff like that to serve our community best to get the patients in so they have their patient counts. Because there's minimum patient counts, minimum stuff that they need, different herbs they need to prescribe, stuff like that they need to meet before the end of the program.
Outstanding. Thanks for that. That was a very good answer.
Thank you. Any other discussion? No, hearing none, I'll take a motion to accept staff recommendations to grant the annual license for procedural purposes only, find that a substantive change has occurred, and issue a provisional license through November 30, 2023, based upon the financial soundness of the institution. In order to maintain the provisional license, the institution must comply with the following contingency: to submit an accreditation renewal documentation with the Accrediting Commission of Career Schools and Colleges, and the contingency must be fulfilled within all required materials received in the commission office within 90 days of the clerk's order, and a progress report shall be filed with the commission for the March 2023 and July 2023 commission meetings. The report shall include updated financial statements to show the effectiveness of the plan per rule.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The motion is approved.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
So for the, because I see the note, we submitted our accreditation, a document dated October 27th that showed that we're in good status and we're on the track to be renewed. There's nothing indicating that. So we have our meeting in February. Is that stating that in February we would submit based on when they approve us then? Because that's when we're on the agenda.
You'll need to submit a motion or an application to extend the time to comply with the contingencies.
Okay.
And I believe we can put that on the January, but based on the timeline for the on-site visit for the accreditor.
All right. And then I guess my question was the October 27th letter not acceptable to count for our renewal?
We need the date through which the accreditation is good. So you'll get that letter after your on-site visit is complete, when you are fully accredited. I understand you're in good status, but we need the new expiration date.
Yeah, no, and I understand. I was just, because the letter states that, because we've already had our on-site visit, our meeting's not till February.
Oh, the meeting, okay, I misunderstood, I apologize.
Yeah, and so we've already, the letter stated that we're in good faith and we are accredited. And we're just meeting, and I understand, I just don't want to, because we won't have the meeting till February where they'll extend that expiration date that you see on their website and stuff.
Right, so when you get that letter after the meeting, that's what you'll need to submit it to comply with the contingency.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you. Any other? No? Okay.
Any other questions regarding the process?
So the motion was approved, so we're good to go. Okay, the next school is Florida International College in Kissimmee, number 3813. Here she comes.
Good morning. I'm not from that college, but I've just got to ask a question. You did not call Bethesda College of Health Sciences in Boynton. We're the first college under L, substantive change approval. It's my first time coming, so I want to make sure I did not mishear.
You did not mishear. We accepted that as a consent agenda item, and it was approved by consent of the commission.
Lovely. Thank you.
I didn't miss that, did we? Is there anyone representing Florida International College?
It's just a long way to come.
The commission have any discussion points for about school number 4? Or not school number 4, item number 4?
Nothing that can be addressed without a representative here.
Yeah. So we can,
You can vote on the recommendation, and we can add any contingencies the commission may
okay. Do you,
deem appropriate.
Commissioner Williams, do you have any contingencies you'd like to add? Do you want?
I mean, perhaps I needed more clarity that I'm not going to get without a rep here. So I'll.
You could also change the report to be a January report, because this requests a March and July report. So if you want to hear in January, if you want to hear sooner, you could change the reporting timeline.
Oh, I see.
And what would the impact be to?
It would
No impact. They would come, if you want them to come January, March, and July, or all of the next meetings.
Yeah.
So the last part of the recommendation is a report shall be filed with the commission for the March, we could say for January 2023. And there, I also see that their site visit is older, 2020. I don't know if that means, I don't know what your
You could also add a contingency for an on-site, commission-directed on-site visit.
Would that help too?
Yes, it would. That in January would be great.
Okay.
Yeah, there's just a trajectory there that is going in the opposite direction of enrollments. It's curious to me, and I don't know that we can sort it out without a rep here, so January would be great.
Okay. All right, so I will take a motion to accept the staff recommendation to grant the annual license for provisional purposes only. And I'll read that, but we're going to amend what's in the document here. So grant the annual license for procedural purposes only, find that the substantive change has occurred, and issue a provisional license through January 31, 2023, based on the financial soundness of the institution. In order to maintain the provisional license, the institution must comply with the following contingencies. 1, submit an update on the status of the institution's pursuit of institutional accreditation and programmatic accreditation for the nursing AS program. 2, submit an interim financial audit prepared in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles by an independent certified public accountant, which demonstrates resources sufficient for the proposed operations of the institution and the discharge of its obligations to its students. Submission of documentation confirming the CPA that prepared the financial statement has met the regulatory requirements in their respective state of business. And a progress report shall be filed with the Commission for the January 2023 meeting, as well as March 2023, and an additional contingency of an on-site visit. The report shall include updated financial statements to show the effectiveness of the plan per rule.
You're really good at this.
That's the motion? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The motion is approved. All right, then. So now we're moving on to, there are no items for sections M, N, and O. And having no other business today, this meeting is in recess until 9 a.m. tomorrow. Oh, wow. That happened quick.
Whoa.
Thank you all.
Nicely done.
Adjourned.
Right?
I definitely need a gavel at home.
Yay.